And speaking of events, last weekend Carrie was the best host I have ever had in a haunted attraction.
Bow. Yeah, I'm like, huh.
And we have some cool pictures. We've been having a few technical difficulties tonight. I think Mr. Producer has gotten it all straightened out, but. Also, well, this very first picture. So, Carrie, we went to Not Scary Farm with Carrie, myself, and Cheeseman, and we had the best time ever. One of the best experiences ever in a haunted attraction.
We also dressed up like Eli Roth and Marilyn Manson.
That's I'm Marilyn Manson.
This is 2010. I worked at Not Scary Farm 2008, 9,
That
10.
is Carrie, by the way.
That's me as the vampire. It was so much fun, and yeah, Eli Roth and Marilyn Manson walked through the maze and got an awesome photo with them.
I think it's the most awesome thing ever.
It was so cool. And yeah, it was, I mean, working there, I had worked at Not Scary Farm for 3 years, and I've attended every single year since 2004, except for the years I worked there. So I know the park very well, and I've gone other times, so that's why I would say I'm an excellent guide of where to go.
Oh, it was so great.
And plan. I'm like, we did all the mazes, we saw all the shows.
She did not pay for
parking. It was so fun.
Even
and
had
I didn't
time
pay
for
parking.
rides.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
You guys at the end, yeah.
At the end, we did some rides, and I was like, that doesn't usually happen when I do haunted
Took
attractions.
you places you didn't know there were in the park, like the underneath the bridge, the railway
that was
thing.
one of the creepiest parts of the thing, though. So let's talk a little bit about what we did that night. We
have some, we have more photos.
We do have some cool photos. If we
there we are.
There's the beginning of the night when there was still sunlight.
Group. Yay.
And that was before
times.
we. Now, what was the first?
Elvira's show. Here we go. That was. I thought it was really good this year.
And I think this is her final show, right?
That's what you were saying.
Which is very sad.
Well, at Not Scary Farm. She's been doing it at Not Scary Farm for quite some time. It's. Well, and having attended for so many years, they did a really cool thing where they had the dancers on the end, and they did water from the ceiling on them, which is kind of a throwback to a show. I don't know how many years ago, but that was so cool. I'm like, oh, they brought it back.
That's the first time I've ever seen her perform. I used to watch her.
She's still amazing, too.
Horror hosting,
so
which
good.
I loved when she was a horror host, and then this show she was so freaking good.
So funny, and just still amazing dancer.
And
singing.
I just thought that was an awesome shot that you took there of the giant pumpkins.
I love the decorations there. It's just super fun. So this is that's actually where the hanging used to be. The hangings moved over
way
to
up
the
there?
side. No, they used to have a stage where those pumpkins are.
Oh, wow.
That used to be like a stage area, but they moved the hanging just a little bit to the side. Same kind of courtyard, but I think it's maybe just a better traffic flow / area. Yeah, it'd be better traffic flow having people over there.
The hangings there could definitely teach Halloween Horror Nights a lesson, because they stopped the Bill and Ted thing, but it had the same kind of vibe.
This was this, and do we have any more pictures, or was that the? Oh, okay.
We'll have to tweet some more.
We have a lot of pictures. Carrie has a lot.
Hanging was really good this year. So the Hanging, if you guys aren't familiar, it's a pop culture show where they hang generally somebody of recent pop culture, and it's like Wild West theme, and it's the people of Calico, and there's a sheriff and everything, and they just make fun of things that have happened throughout the year, seriously, and
who's hung? I'm curious.
Well.
Did you know who it was?
I've got a couple folks.
Well, yeah, I
had to explain to my friend.
You had to explain to me who it was as well.
I had to explain to Laura.
It's usually like the most irritating, frustrating,
stupidest thing over the year.
And because of Secret Service, it could not be a political figure. Just throw that out there.
That's a shame.
Yeah, they don't do that.
It's generally like that last year anyway.
Like one year it was like Pikachu, or like it's just things that are kind of like dumb throughout the year. And actually, the thing I really appreciate about this year is they really kind of touched upon of like how dumb pop culture has kind of been, and it's all about like just wanting attention and like our obsession with the media. And I was like, oh, you guys like really, they do a really good job of changing it up to current events as well too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And we probably shouldn't give away who it was.
No, I don't want to give it away.
Okay, because that'll ruin it for
people.
We'll
tell you after.
We'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
But it was really good. And the reason Luke was, what were you talking about? It could teach Bill and Ted a thing.
Well, they stopped doing that here. They just do the.
Oh, they're equally offensive too. That's the other thing.
Yeah, Bill and Ted. I think this one was almost more offensive, but they still were ballsy enough to keep doing it.
A lot of punching each other.
I mean, it was just like
blood splatter.
Oh, it's a stunt show too.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's not just like making fun of pop culture. There's like stunts, and they're really good too.
Yeah.
And like
Fun
for those
show.
who don't know, Halloween Horror Nights here in California stopped doing their Bill and Ted show. I think 2 or 3 years ago.
I love that show. That was a good show too.
And we are traveling
First they got too drunk, and then they got too offended.
Yeah.
All the fun's taken
And then
away.
so we're going to Orlando, and we're going to see the final production of Bill and Ted
wow.
this year. So it's stopping in Orlando as well.
So they're gonna offend everybody, especially since it's the last
Oh, it's
night.
the
I'm
last
sure they're
one?
just
Oh,
gonna.
and by the way, we're seeing it on the final night that
Oh,
they
perfect.
and the final
Yeah.
performance they ever do. So we're going like in November actually because
cool.
the hurricanes bumped our trip a little bit, so we had to move our trip back a little
Well,
bit.
some of the horror theme parks continue into like November, and it's also kind of Day of the Dead timing, so it
Yeah.
works. Sure.
So Carrie,
take
what
my
was
extra time.
so Carrie? If you can walk us through some of the attractions that we did, and Luke, you
Oh,
jump in and
yes,
tell me what you thought about them.
That was the other thing. This year, the mazes are really good.
I was really impressed.
A thing that's great is anybody who's returning, they've changed up a little, some of them a little bit. Like Trick or Treat's actually in the dark, and you get a flashlight that does stuff. So
That was amazing.
cool.
That
That was
was-
probably my
yeah.
favorite concept they've ever done because it kind of made you feel like you're part of it and picking where your eyes would
Yeah,
go
exactly.
and everything. So
I
I
felt
did the
like
thing
Fox
that people
Mulder.
hate where I kind of tried to get purposely lost. So I'm just like in the dark with a flashlight and got the real full experience. And that even like would flicker on and off.
There were
Yeah.
parts where
Stuff
they
like
would
that, too.
control your flashlight and it would start going off and you're left in the dark.
Yep.
And it was
Oh my.
it was great. It was a great experience.
So it was a great way to to reinvent a maze, which it's generally the same walkthrough, but how you experience it is completely different. The Voodoo maze, completely redesigned. Love the new design. You're really fully immersed in it. Before
Jim
they kinda,
got lost.
Yeah.
I did.
Hey, come
True that. I mean, there was this one section where it kind of split off, and I went down there, and then the maze monster guy, the voodoo guy, he had to come running down
Did
there.
you keep
You're
running
going the wrong
away?
way. Yeah. Oh
You know
yeah.
what? Actually, funny story.
I
Was
start
that-
running. You what do you expect?
No,
a maze
you're-
monster is
it's-
chasing you.
He
You
chased
don't know
you-
you're
chased
supposed
you
to
back in the
stop
right
and
place.
talk to him.
I have
Well,
seen that happen when I worked at Not Scary Farm. There was a guy who he's super tall and he had his own mask that looked so good, like pretty much looked like he skinned his face, and it was like fitted. Like it's not like a cheap one; it's a really nice one. Because some of the monsters do; they get their own things. So he scared a girl in our maze, and it was Club Blood, if anybody remembers that one. Woohoo! She scared this girl. She ran and hit a wall and fell over, and then. He like goes down to lean over and like, do you need help? But you can't like talk through the mask. So he's like, do you need help? And she's like, ah. So at that time I was a blackout, which is the people like making sure you're going the right way. He came over and he's like, there's a girl who needs help. Can you come over here? And I'm like, yeah, okay.
But that
So
one
it
was-
does happen.
I loved it. What about the shoot 'em up?
The zombie maze was good this year too. It's like infected. Ugh,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Wait.
I'm looking at
Special Ops Infected.
Special
Thank
Ops
you.
Infected, yes.
That one's really kind of cool because they give you a gun and you're running through. It's the only maze where you get to like run, kind of. And I do this
The
in air
zombie
quotes for
have,
people
like,
listening
collars on.
that light
Yeah,
up
it
like
was
you've
so
shot
cool.
them
You
or
shoot 'em.
not.
Wow.
And it's like a laser pointer kind of gun and
Buzz Lightyear, but with dead people.
Yeah.
I'm really
And I
intrigued.
guess you can die too, suppose, or the gun
Kind
can
of.
say you can have
Well,
bites or
it's
whatever.
unlimited ammo now. They used
Yeah.
to do it where it wasn't unlimited, which sucked. Because I remember one
really
year I
sucked.
did it, and I'm like, I'm out. I can't do anything. But they changed it. It's now unlimited ammo. But you can start dying, like if
Yeah.
they get too close to you.
Mm-hmm.
I think I killed like 12 or more. Or...
But those zombies, like those actors, are doing an amazing job. Like, because there's some that don't have the collars, but they would fully react. Like you
Shoot them,
shot 'em.
and they
and
go
they
down.
jumped back.
It was
Oh,
awesome.
so good.
Yeah, so cool.
And then, what was one of your favorite mazes?
Well, we pretty much already said my two favorite, but I feel like this is the future of what they could be because it kind of puts you more in it, not just like, okay.
It's nice
they're
to have the
scaring out, but-
variety.
But you feel like you're more active or like in the movie, kind of,
Yeah.
or not in the movie, but like in the horror moment or whatever. So like with the flashlight or
Yep.
with the gun, those are my favorite because I haven't experienced anything like that, and it was something new. And
I've
I
never
feel
experienced that, yeah.
Other places like Halloween Horror Nights may try stuff like that maybe eventually.
Well, someone else is already trying the flashlight. A friend of mine, Jose, if you're out there, he went to Six Flags Fright Fest this past weekend, and they're doing something similar with their
cool.
a flashlight maze where it takes you through and they go out a little bit. So maybe it's the new thing.
I'm blanking the name on the pumpkin one. There's a pumpkin
Pumpkin
one.
Eater.
That one right by the beginning, really good.
Loved
That
it.
one's also great new design. That's
I
a
love
brand new
pumpkins. It's my
maze.
favorite part of Halloween.
And Dark Ride was really good too. I like that. That was
Oh, yeah.
the middle. And I do suggest generally go all the way to the back and work your way forward, or go all the way to the left because there's like 5 mazes on the left-hand side. So once you get those all done, then you can.
Carrie was really good. Like you said, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go here. We're gonna do. We're gonna go this way. Go there. We'll take a break here for bathrooms, and we go this way. I mean,
Yeah.
and
And you'll even have time for a beer.
Yeah.
And to see both shows. I love the
Yeah.
shows.
We saw both the
so-
shows.
Saw both shows, yeah.
The Hanging
All the way
and
through.
Elvira.
Yeah.
And Grant, it was kind of cool because we got in and Elvira started like, it's almost like they were holding the show for us. 10 seconds after we sat down, ta-da! It started.
Oh yeah, that one they start on time. That is a slight warning. Don't show up late. We had some friends who couldn't make it in because if you're like, they shut the doors.
And they had some cool the scare zones as well. The ghost town streets with the really foggy
The fog.
section.
I took you guys through that. I'm like, we're gonna make a loop-de-loop just so you can walk through the fog.
That was great. That was great. The Hollow. They also had the Hollow. They had Carn Evil with all the crazy. That one was
clowns?
the clowns. The
Yes.
clowns were scary. That section was my least scary part because it was so wide open.
that's-
It's hard to cover all that ground.
Those people are probably the hardest ones who work there because there's no cover, there's no fog,
Nope.
and it's well lit. It was a little darker this year, which is good, but it's just this open expanse like boardwalk area. And so there's nowhere for them to like peek out at you. So they did a great job. And the Camp Snoopy area is a scare zone again. That one, that's where the shooting used to be. The
Okay.
shooting maze used to be over there, the zombie one. But now it's a scare zone again, and it's kind of like this mythical witch hunt thing, which I like that. That was really
Yeah,
cool.
but the zombie sliding people.
Just sliders.
The sliders. It was cool when you saw them over in the ghost town area with all the sparks. They would start sliding, and you would see the sparks sparking off their knee pads as they're sliding. I got some video
You're
of that.
like
That
my
was really
favorite.
cool. Okay, so
Starting November 18th, you can visit Knott's Merry Farm, which is what I like because it's Christmas and it's happy and comforting and safe.
all right, so back to horror. Back to
Still
horror.
scary.
Anyway,
it's on the
moving
way.
on.
So, anyways, if you have not yet gone to Knott's Scary Farm, go to it. It is.
Oh, actually, quick recommendation as well. Go on the actual park opens at like 7, but if you go at about 6:30. Oh, new thing, they have security metal detectors now, so just allow a little bit of extra time for that instead of checking you right before the gate.
And don't take a pocket knife.
Well, that's probably a thing, but some people, yeah. But no, they used to have it before where the ticket booths are, and then they would wand you there. So they've moved the metal detectors further back, which is kind of nice because it's less congestion. But we got in at about like 6:15, and there was like nobody. They'll let you in, but they have a rope up. But it's nice because you could get like right to the front and go right through a maze, like the pumpkin maze. So anyway, get there at about like 6:30 to really be early at the front of a group.
You're like a horror. You're like a cruise director for.
She is.
My friend, it's like I'm like what? Like I'm not this organized about anything. Like,
My friends were like, "It's horror Siri."
yeah.
Serious.
Oh my god, that's so funny.